Hey you guys! So you've decided to start investing and at least worked out a way to save a little money each month. You want to find a way to get that money working for you better than a quite lackluster performance that a savings account will give you. Well, you're in luck. For easy investing, numerous experts have already crafted a simple approach for us that doesn't take a whole lot of thinking or time. Today, Relentless Growth reviews the 3-fund portfolio. And if you haven't been able to save quite enough money to begin investing yet, then I recommend you watch until the end, where I'll link a video with techniques to help you save more money. The 3-fund portfolio typically has you buying a domestic total market index fund, an international total market index fund, and a bond total market index fund. Since each fund could easily have several dozen to 100 or more different stocks, you get massive diversification, which means your maximum gains are likely lower. But your maximum losses are also probably lower. In particular, a bond fund would be expected to be very stable, but have a lower return. It's up to you how much of your money you would put in each fund. Generally, the older you are, the less volatility you want, meaning you'd want more of the bond fund. I am young as well as high risk, high return, so I prefer the domestic market most. I personally would put no money in bonds in most cases. The only reason that I do that is that bonds tend to be very low, and I am personally investing to get rich, not to be stable. One of the great advantages of these exchange-traded funds is that a computer automatically updates the fund and the fees tend to be low as a result, whereas with an actively traded fund, a human makes those decisions, and unfortunately, human investors tend to have a hard time separating emotion from logic, and as such, ETFs will usually outperform most active traders. I'm a big fan of putting your money where your mouth is, so even though I mostly like to save money in a high yield savings account for real estate investing, link above for more real estate, I am going to buy $100 of each fund type from the 2 examples I gave you for each category. For the domestic total market fund, I had a very hard time choosing. Stocks aren't my main obsession, so I just looked at the return over the last 5 years, the dividend, and the price-earnings ratio, and honestly, they're the same thing. So I picked SPY, because being a spy is super cool. The name's Bond. Stock Bond. I did the same basic comparison for our 2 international funds. Both funds had a 10 to 12% return for 5 years before the pandemic, approximately the same price to earnings ratio, and VXUS had a slightly higher dividend as well as being the one with the 12% return. So, while it was close, I chose the latter. Now, these funds being very similar to each other is a good thing because it implies they are both about equally well diversified. Now, the bond funds were a bit more interesting because I took the liberty of choosing atypical bond ETFs, basically. HYG actually had a 0.5% loss in 5 years and a 5% dividend yield. However, TLT has had much higher returns. TLT was fairly stable up until late 2018 and has since skyrocketed in value with almost no dividend yield. To be fair, these are actually very different bond funds. HYG is corporate bonds. Corporations are profit-driven and will strive to give dividends in order to help entice investors. Government bonds, on the other hand, expressly shoot for stability. However, I love dividends, so I went with HYG due to the dividend return. The way I see it, by spending this $100 right now, I just increased my income by $5 per year for the rest of my life. There are links down below for different stock trading apps and websites that you can use. Robinhood is my favorite, And for most of those links, if you sign up and fund the account with $100, you'll be able to receive free stocks. What stocks did you choose, or would you choose if you aren't able to buy right now? Comment below. You can also ask me how the stocks I bought today are doing. If you're still having a hard time saving enough money to invest, check out the linked video and subscribe for more content. As a subscriber, I can have more interactions with you and more opportunities for you to tell me what content it is that you want or need. You only have one life to live. Grow it relentlessly.